So did you find pretty much immediate success once
Yeah,
you
we
and
did. We found immediate success, but because I sold hard and I didn't think of myself as being high pressure, but I did think of myself as putting together strong sales presentations where there was a strong logic of why farm equipment dealers would need to use the magazine to get leads to set up dealers, and that came pretty easy. I mean, and you know I tried to be easygoing and sold with a sense of humor, and 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 it was pretty easy. I'd go out and talk to these manufacturers, and I would say, you've got a position to protect, and there are two things for you. You can get additional distribution, and I told a real compelling story about that, and we did generate a lot of leads, and and so one of the things that that I would do is I would personally call the people that circle the bingo card, and I would talk to them about their business and what products they carry, and I did a pretty thorough workup on them, and then of course I'd ask them, well, why did you respond to this particular product, to this particular line? And they'd say, because we don't have it. And we looked at the farm shows, we looked at the product, and it's well made. And, we think that it provides an opening for us. So, and I think that the manufacturers were impressed with the fact that here's this young little guy from Wisconsin. I mean, and he would be calling their leads for them. They knew that they should probably call their leads, but I told them, look, you're never going to do it. You're not going to do that. Yeah. So I said, let me do it, and so I'll give them to you when they're qualified.
That was some of the hustle that I've heard about Johnson Hill, that no other publishers were doing that kind of thing. That you guys were hustle and aggressive, and it was easy to sell after you went through that, correct?
Yeah, and we were innovative. I mean, we were very innovative in the way that we sold it. We would show them an opportunity, so we weren't trying to work our way into an advertising schedule or anything like that. We were so.
Do you have a particularly memorable sales pitch or something that you would like to share with our audience? What it would like a time where I love that story you just told about qualifying the leads on the bingo card.
Okay.
You got another one or two like that I'd like to capture.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of them because we built our company based on that kind of stuff. I mean, we did a really good job qualifying our prospects. And so when there's basically a prospect company, and we didn't waste our time calling on the majors, except we did go to FIEI.
Now it's called AEM, but for our viewers who might not know that.
What's that for, AEM?
Association of Equipment Manufacturers.
Yeah, okay. If a manufacturer didn't see any reason to advertise in it or to reach the market or anything like that, I mean, we could forget about it. But before I would forget about them, I'd try to give a low key sales presentation to to find out, okay, are there any products that you're missing that you wish that you were selling in your dealership that competitors are selling? And if they would say yes, then I would try to help them get equipment that that they could sell. I mean, and and that worked. I mean, it just worked. I mean, we would look at a dealer's lineup of products that they carried, and we knew not enough about the market that we knew if they were with premier manufacturers or not. And we had enough credibility with the manufacturers that if we would say to them, look, I mean, you're telling us that you want to sell this category, you want to be in this category of product, and we understand why, and so we would just talk them into allowing us to come in. I mean, just the other 6 manufacturers that are manufacturing the same equipment is you say you're going to want to sell, you've got an opportunity.
Mhm.
Because you can sell these products, and we can provide you with the pathway to the prospects.
And what was remarkable for me looking back at those early issues is you really established this as a new product guide. Like in the early days, there wasn't a lot of editorial, and it was all product news, like the latest, greatest short line equipment and
Yeah,
like major line equipment hit them. Like that's really where you staked your flag, correct?
that's exactly right.
And I want you to correct me if I don't have this right, but I've been told that your success with farm equipment became the flagship of Johnson Hill and allowed you to invest in all the other publications and sired a couple publications like OEM Off Highway and
Yeah,
Lawn and Garden. Can you, if that's correct, can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah, sure. I mean, we didn't continue to publish a magazine unless it was successful, and we worked hard to make it successful. And so then, when it was successful, we would sell hard to expand it, and that worked. I mean, it just worked. And our method of calling leads was frankly unassailable. I mean, we would go in and sit at a vice president of marketing, sit in his office and say, let us show you how to follow up these leads. And we would ask a lot of questions. What products they sold, what kind of gross margin each category of products sold. So we did well with that.
So let's say early 70s.
Okay.
You might have had a handful of publications, and
Yeah.
by 1990, you were considered the leading trade publication companies in all of North America, correct?
Yeah.
Did farm equipment help finance all those other things that?
Well, they all did. I mean, they all did. Our single sponsor business, because that was profitable from the start, that helped finance it. We worked hard at making our publications profitable. That helped us. So it wasn't like one magazine helped us do it, but and we had sometimes some were up and some were down, some were up, some were down, and we didn't shy away from going in and turning a magazine around. I mean, we did the hard work.
In today's world, our advertising salespeople at our company and a lot of others, they talk to the manufacturers. You not only were very close to the manufacturers, but you went out to the dealers as well, and that became, you looped that whole circle in to make you more valuable to the manufacturer, correct?
Yeah, we did. And we determined what it was we were trying to accomplish at any given step in the sales process, and if we saw an opportunity to get distribution for a particular product, I mean, we would go in to manufacturers, and we had shtick, and our shtick was largely airplanes. You know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I would call I wanted it to be a big deal if we were going to go in and call on them. So I would call the president of the company, and I would say, well, I want to come and see you, and I want to talk to you about opportunities in specific segments of the business. And then I'd ask them where, I'd get the date and so forth. And I'd say, well, where is the nearest airport to your company? And you'd say, well, Christ, that's in Cincinnati. And I said, well, in that part of Ohio, I bet there are all kinds of airports in central Illinois. And he'd say, yeah, well, do you have your own airplane? And I'd say, yeah, that's how we do that. Yeah. And he'd say, okay, yeah, we'll pick you up. We'll pick you up at the airport. And the funniest times that I had, I mean, it was really good, because the president of the company that picked me up would, maybe a salesman from Implement Tractor or from Feedstuffs or from whatever would be waiting for the guy in the waiting room of his office, and he'd come in with me.
Yeah.
So we'd walk in together, and he'd say, well, I'm not sure when I can be with you, but if you want an office to work in, or if you want to use a phone, this was before cell phones, I can do that. But we've got some serious business to talk about. And I just love that.
Yeah. And, plus, you got the one-on-one time in the car coming from the airport back to his plant, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're a big factor, because they would help us get in to see the senior level people at the company. Mm. They would, when we went out to see really big, important dealers, we would go out and take the pictures and do the story, and Don can talk to you about that. And then we would take them up in the plane to fly around and see their operation and see other farms in the area that might have the potential to be acquired. And that was really good stuff, because it set us apart.
And for our viewers who are newcomers who don't realize what Johnson Hill accomplished, tell us what you grew from that handful publications to what when you decided to sell the business and what it had become? How many titles?
Yeah,
And
we went from under $500,000 in sales volume and PCA farming and a couple of little things that my dad thought were going to be good ideas. And well, when we sold, we were just over 30 million in sales, and we had 30 different publications.
okay, 30. So significant, very large
Yeah.
scale trade
Yeah.
publisher.
Yeah. So that was good.
Mm-hmm. You had a nice career there, and then
Yeah,
moved.
good.
Yeah.